Okay, here we are in the aquaponics unit development side, and what I want to do is I'm going to start it. And what I want to show is that I've made a system here.
Welcome to the fully
Programmed a
automated
system
aquaponics system.
that allows you to jump to different locations. And also, when an alarm comes in, it'll jump to that location if you so choose. Now, uh, I've entered some previously, and if you want to look at the fish tank, you can jump to that location, and here it is, the fish tank. And looking at the lab, there's the lab, and looking at a motor. So looking at a motor, that's the motor that I pre-selected. And the way that works is if I want to, say, create a position, a new position that I want to look at, let's say I want to look at, say, these gauges over here, I would go ahead and add one, and I'm going to call it looking at gauges. Sometimes you can use a U. I don't know. It's kind of, who knows. Anyway, so I'm going to select looking at gauges, and then I'm going to go ahead and move to one of the gauges. Oops. No, I can get it eventually. Let's say looking at that gauge. Now I want to save that location, so I click on it. Now from now on, let's say I'm somewhere else here. I can say looking at gauges and jump to that location. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. I have these positions here just for debugging, and this move to primary arm will go away. I also have, you'd have to use this in the development stage because the way to create a movie exists only in the development stages, unfortunately. I'll see if I can do that in the app that I send out to everybody. But right now, if you want to I have a movie called Flyover, Grove Tray Flyover, and it flies over all the, right now I have lettuces, and they're just there temporarily to show that what the growth tray will look like. Later on, I'll have these lettuces change in color and change in height and size depending on what the camera sees. But anyway, um, it works. Now, the next thing I have done is when you're in an alarm, and let's say if I click on today, there's no alarms today, so I'll pick a date, say yesterday, which I did a bunch of alarms. And did I do that right? Oh, I didn't do it right. Yesterday. So yesterday I tested alarms, and you can see that yesterday. This information comes from the remote computer, and the remote computer is basically going through the internet and coming back to my other computer in my office area. Okay. Here I have, when I click on fill combos, I have those same uh, positions that you can jump to. And in here, when you clicked on fill combo, it looked at, I only have one alarm, it's the fish pond level. But if you click on the fish pond level and clicking at fish tank, whenever you get an alarm, first I'll connect it to make sure that I have it. Okay. Now, whenever you get an alarm, it should go to the fish tank, which is over there. So what I'm going to do is I want to jump over to the other computer, and then it should, I'll select an alarm to be selected. jump over to my other computers. It takes a second. Sorry about that. Okay, it's running, and you can't see it. Maybe I'll add that in, and I'll click on. I'll send one of the alarms from the Ever computer to the Aquaponic system.
October 9th, 2022, 7:48 and 56 seconds. Fish pond level. Fish pond is too low. 11.
Okay, so what happened here is I wanted to show how, first off, I can remotely send information from one computer to another and jump to that location. Now, whenever an alarm occurs, it'll jump to whatever location that has been selected. So if you have a problem with the fish tank, it'll go to that. If you have a problem with the lab, it'll jump there, and you'll be able to see in real time by looking at colors or sizing or whatever what has happened in 3D, so that you can get a good view of what the problem is. Also, this system can be used in the Metaverse that I'm looking forward to making. That's where a teacher can have, a certain amount of students, like let's say there's 30 students, and they're wrapped around you can see them all wrapped around the unit, and they're all connected to a class that this teacher's teaching. He can also jump to that location and touch the lab or the fish tank, and then select one of three options. One is to look at in tabulated form, and say a spreadsheet, all the temperatures or pressures or flows or whatever that has taken place over a period of time, so they can select, and then all the students will see what he's selected as far as when to look at what, so you can see the problem. Like maybe there was a problem with the lab, or there's a problem with the fish tank where the temperatures are too high or something of that nature, and it caused problems. Or the second way is they can look at an animated view. Let's say he selects a fish tank level, and he wants to see what's happening to the level at different times. He can select a from to date, and have that from to date or from to time show up as an animated view of all you can see the level going up and down at what time, and then you can see, like maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning, you have a problem with it going too high or going too low for some reason, and then you can look into the problem. Also, the third way, what is the third way? You can look at, the third way is, of course, to look at it currently, and to see, what it's actually doing right now. And maybe a fourth way later, where I have a camera and you can actually look at, the lettuce or whatever's growing, and you can see pictures throughout a range of time, so that you can actually see it growing over a period of time. So that, I guess, that'd be the fourth way. And that's it. That's what I'm looking forward to actually making. I've got a long ways to go, but it's fun.